Hey everyone, welcome to today's Explainer. We're going to take a deep dive into something that is honestly one of the most invisible, yet completely destructive forces in our daily lives. I'm talking about the need for external validation. It's something almost all of us struggle with, but very few people actually realize just how much it's quietly costing them. We call it the approval trap, and today, we're going to break down exactly how this trap works, why your brain is literally wired to fall right into it, and most importantly, how you can break free to start building authentic success.
The absolute fastest way to lose your life is trying to impress people who aren't living it. I mean, it sounds completely illogical when you say it out loud, doesn't it? Why on earth would we sacrifice our own happiness, our own wealth, and our true potential just to satisfy the fleeting opinions of bystanders? Yet we do it all the time. We actually shape our daily reality around the hypothetical judgments of people who don't pay our bills, who don't live our lives, and honestly, who probably aren't even thinking about us in the first place. And look, this doesn't just happen in those big dramatic movie-type moments. It happens in the micro decisions of our everyday routines. Every single time you seek approval before making a move, you hand someone else control over your decisions. Seeking validation is fundamentally an exchange of power. You're taking your own personal agency, your fundamental right to steer your own ship, and you're just handing the wheel over to a committee of outsiders. And when you do that, your choices are no longer optimized for your success, they're optimized to avoid their criticism. And slowly, you stop becoming who you could have been. This is the real, tragic long-term loss of your true potential. It's the visionary entrepreneur who never launched their business simply because they were terrified of looking foolish to their corporate peers. Or the gifted artist who took a safe, mind-numbing job just to appease their parents. Inch by inch, the pursuit of approval erodes the person you were actually meant to become. Okay, let's dive into this. Section 1. Why we seek validation. If this behavior is so destructive, why do we all keep doing it? Well, to fix this, we have to look at the psychology. Thousands of years ago, seeking acceptance wasn't some character flaw. It was a hardcore survival mechanism. If your tribe didn't approve of you, you were cast out, and you literally wouldn't survive the winter. So our brains evolved to view social rejection as a literal life or death threat. We are biologically programmed to want to fit in. But today, that ancient programming has become a massive modern barrier. You aren't going to get eaten by a saber-toothed tiger if someone at a dinner party dislikes your career choice, but your caveman brain still fires off the exact same panic signals. Which brings us to Section 2, the cost of people-pleasing. Because when that ancient instinct goes unchecked in today's world, it becomes incredibly destructive. Here is the real-world hidden price of people-pleasing. Just think about the massive financial and personal costs we're talking about here. People are altering their entire life trajectory, choosing prestigious careers they secretly hate just to sound impressive at networking events. They completely sabotage their wealth building by buying luxury cars and designer clothes they really don't need, funded entirely by debt, just to signal status to total strangers waiting at the same stoplight. They'll stay completely silent in meetings when they actually have the best idea, and they avoid massive business opportunities strictly out of a fear of judgment. The need for approval quietly controls your spending habits, your career moves, and frankly forces you to sacrifice your actual dreams. And now, Section 3, the social media amplifier. Because wait, it gets even more intense. We have to look at the modern catalyst that took this evolutionary vulnerability and put it on absolute steroids. Gamified approval. Look, social media didn't invent our need for validation, but it absolutely turned it into a competitive sport with highly visible public metrics. Before, you might have worried a bit about what your neighbors thought. Now, your brain is tracking likes, views, and follower counts in real time. We've basically turned other people's opinions into a digital arcade game, and we feel utterly forced to play it. This constant dopamine loop makes us hyper-dependent on external praise, driving us further and further away from what actually fulfills us internally. And this brilliantly illustrates our next point. Section 4, feedback versus dependence. Now, we are definitely not saying you should ignore all advice and just become this stubborn island. If we want to succeed, we have to learn the crucial nuance in how we process outside opinions. There is a massive difference between taking constructive advice to improve and needing someone else's permission to feel good about your choices. Healthy feedback is objective. It's totally necessary for growth, and it comes from mentors or peers who actually align with your core values. You use it as data to refine your strategy. Unhealthy dependence, on the other hand, is relying on validation for your baseline self-worth. If someone critiques you, it doesn't just change your strategy, it ruins your day and makes you want to throw in the towel.
Unhealthy dependence paralyzes your growth because you become terrified to make a move unless everyone cheers for you first.
All right, moving on to section 5, start living for yourself.
So, how do we actually flip the script here? How do we stop being prisoners to the opinions of others and start building true, unshakable confidence? Let's walk through 3 practical strategies to break this cycle. Step 1, identify your core values. You literally can't ignore other people's compass if you don't have a compass of your own. You've got to write down what actually matters to you, whether that's financial freedom, creativity, family time, or innovation. Step 2, notice when the fear of judgment is driving your choices. Awareness is half the battle here, folks. Catch yourself when you're about to buy something, post something, or agree to a project and pause to ask, wait, am I doing this because I truly want to or because of how it looks to others? And step 3, make decisions based on your values, not their opinions. True confidence doesn't come from everyone liking you. No way. True confidence grows when you know you are making decisions that align with your own internal truth. When you do that, you reclaim your wealth, your time, and your ultimate success.
Because ultimately, the moment you stop living for approval is the moment you start living for yourself. Your life, your wealth, and your potential belong strictly to you. It is entirely up to you to start living it that way.
So I want to leave you with a really provocative thought to chew on today. What is one decision you've made in your life simply because of other people's expectations? Was it your major in college? Was it a car you bought on credit just to look the part? Or maybe a boundary you failed to set with a relative? Identify that moment, really recognize the hidden price you paid for it, and make the commitment today that your next big decision will be made entirely for you. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time as we continue to unpack the ideas that shape our minds and our success.